Good morning, hello, happy Wednesday. Halfway through the week, almost there. So let's see what we're doing today. Oh right, I think we're gonna make the bullets die after a certain amount of time. I was yesterday thinking about whether or not I wanted to use the same like sort of like ticks remaining to live that the what is it? The particles have, but I think I just need a separate system just for that. And if we take a look at our update life here, it has the particles world. It looks for looks like we do this query get names to live. Oh no, okay, here it is. We do, okay, it does a query for ticks to live, entity ID, and that's pretty much it. You know what? I might be able to use this directly. Let's say that when we fire a bullet, we insert the bullet into the world. What if we also do this with component? This would be names, ticks to live. Ooh, Zilby is here too. An awkward position for the camera, but I'll see what I can do. Okay, so we're gonna have ticks to live to string that, and then the data. Let's see, what are you? Something update life, ticks to live, a U size. Okay, so it wants you to be a U size. So then you can be something like, I don't know, let's just choose 100 U size for no other reason. Let's see. We do that. Then in our main library, as we're updating, okay, so we have update. At this point down here, we could just call update life system. But this time, instead of calling particles world, we can just pass in self.world. And that will handle all this. Let's try it. See if just the bullets die after, like, you know, a little bit of time. Let's do a cargo run. I'm on a workspace. That's the wrong one. There we go. I need to run it in. Okay, no, it doesn't like that at all. What happened? Oh, here it is. Let's see. Thread main panicked at called result unwrap on an error value bitmap component ticks to live not found. Do I need to register that? I register that with Particles World. I don't think I register that here. Let's do a world.register ticks to live. Okay, let's try that. Okay, I think that was it. So then we're gonna fire a bullet. Hey, look at that. And the bullet just dies. Now I can just hold down the space key and just get a stream of bullets. So maybe we should like figure out something else about, you know, when we can fire a bullet. But that being said, this is pretty good. Now, if I want to count the bullets and only allow myself to like fire, I don't know. Well, maybe for right now, I'm not gonna worry about like how many bullets I can fire. We can do that later. Let's I want to make sure that I can fire from one corner to the other. Or at least sort of, kind of. Oh, well, probably shouldn't die. Let's come up here. So it dies around here. Let's increase that. I don't think I need to double it. But we can give you maybe like 150. Okay, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't want to actually reach the ship. 125. Okay, I feel like this is pretty good. This will allow me to like fire from pretty decently far away. The next thing I want to do is actually have it be able to hit those asteroids and blow them up, because who doesn't want to see that? Also, that's kind of a core fundamental part of the game. So if I want to have any kind of like collision between the bullets and let's see the other thing. What do bullets, okay, so what do bullets and asteroids have in common? Do bullets have a size? We don't have a size here. And I think, do asteroids have a size? They do. Okay, so asteroids have a size. Now, bullets essentially have like a very, very, very small size. I'd be perfectly fine with us just saying, hey, if the bullet was within the size of the component. Okay, so we basically have a location and then the marker. And that might be all we need. A location and the marker. Which does mean we need a marker for bullets, which we don't have here. Which means we need that entity type. So we do need entity types here. Okay, so we're gonna add in a bullet here with component, names, marker. Okay, this is gonna be our, we have to put in a string here, so this is gonna be our entity types. Bullets. All right, so now we have a marker here, and we also have a marker on our asteroids. We should now be able to create a new system for handle shooting bullets, like no, handle bullets hitting asteroids. All right, so what is this gonna be? Handle system. All right, so what do we need to actually be able to do this? Here's my thoughts for this. For this function, we're going to let's see, have the bullets hit the asteroids, which will break them up into smaller asteroids. Each time they are hit, the asteroid duplicates and flies off in a random direction, just a tiny bit faster. All right, so what do we actually need to do for that? So we need to, well, okay, so we need to find out if there are bullets. If there's no bullets, we don't need to do anything. So we need to query for bullets and asteroids. Let's see. Bullets, asteroids. After we query for the bullets and asteroids, we need to do what? We need to, for each bullet, so for each bullet, we need to check to see how close it is to each asteroid. So, is bullet colliding with any of the asteroids? Well, if yes, then we need to, what? We need to destroy the bullet. Let's see, after we destroy the bullet, we need to like extract the information about the asteroid, cut the size in half, I think, create the new asteroid, insert them in the same places as it was. So create 2 new asteroids with half the size of the original. Destroy the asteroid, and then insert new asteroids into the world. And I think that's it, right? Well, I guess like there is one question here. If we create the asteroids with half the size of the original, at some point they should just be destroyed and don't like exist anymore. So after a certain size, they should, like, instead of creating. So creating with half the size original. If the size is above a threshold. And I think that's it. I think that's all we need to do here. So, all right, well, we know we're gonna need the world. Now, if we're creating asteroids, we're gonna need, I'm betting that we're gonna need some kind of, we're gonna need the context. We could just wait until like figure out what we need. We're probably going to need a mutable reference to the world too, because we're going to be inserting into it. So we're going to need that as well. Let's start with a mutable reference to the world, and we'll go from there. And yeah, we're definitely we're gonna need context too. Now, right now, creating of the asteroids happens in the main library. I think this should be moved to a helper. So we have create asteroid here, which we just can hand it the speed. We could hand it a radius. And the player size, I don't think we need to care about this quite as much. We should be able to remove this entire thing. Here, before I do this, let's actually just take create asteroid and extract that into helpers. Create asteroid. Oh, this creates an asteroid mesh. I'm going to rename you to create asteroid mesh. And then we're going to insert asteroid into world. And here we go with that. Okay, so you need to be public function. Create asteroid, we have our world, which is this world. Okay, we're gonna have a radius, we're gonna have our context. Because I think this is gonna create the asteroid mesh too. Okay, so we have our speed, player size, we don't really care about this in here. And I don't think we care about our player location either. Arena size. Yes, we care about that for the random positioning. Is that true? Why do we need the arena size? Generate asteroid location. Okay, so I don't need to generate the asteroid location. We're gonna take in a location, which is a point. Okay, so let mesh equals create asteroid mesh. All right, so what do you need? Import you from there. There we go. Okay, so let our location equals, okay, so we don't need to generate a location. We're already gonna have that passed in for us. Then we're gonna have acceleration equals, Aha, so this is also setting ourselves up with a random acceleration here. I think we want to, when we create the asteroid. Oh, I think this is fine. It's just going to give it based upon the speed. So I think this is fine here. Oh, we do need to pull in random. Okay, then we're going to spawn entity. We have to pull in the world methods. Oh, we have to pull in names. All of these things should be fine. Oh, entity types. And then here we go. Okay, we can now use this. So library. So in self-create asteroid, this is now going to be insert asteroid into the world. Create asteroid. Let's rename you. Insert asteroid into the world. There we go. Okay, so we're going to call insert asteroid into the world. Takes only 5 arguments. Okay, so we need to pass in the world. The asteroid radius, the context, the speed. And then the location. And so here we're passing in player speed and player location. And then the location itself instead of this location like that. All right, so we can create asteroid location is equal to new point. Let's just say we put this in like 50, something like that. We're going to throw you in here. Asteroid location. That should make you happy. Okay, so we have no big errors. If I run this, okay, our asteroid gets put in the correct spot. Perfect. Let's run that again so I can actually see it. Yeah, okay, so it starts up here and then flies around a random velocity acceleration. Yeah, perfect. All right, so what is next then? I want to let's do like we need to give it like a random location, completely random location now. That's going to be fine. So, and we have our width and height, don't we? Yeah, we have width and height. Let's see. So if we do we have RNG? We do not have an RNG. We do have an RNG, but we're calling it right here. So I kind of want to just do RNG like this. And then just up here at the top, mute RNG equals thread RNG. And now I can use that here to give us our new RNG for this. So we're going to do for X, it's going to be RNG dot gen range between 0 and width. Has to be 0.0. And then the Y is going to be the same thing. gen range, 0.0, and height. Okay, so if I do that, and let's say we make 10 of them. Asteroids randomly in the world. Perfect. Now, for each of those asteroids, we want to let's see, is there anything else we need to do here? Because now I think we can just create a new asteroid exactly wherever we want it to be. So I think that's gonna work for us. I'm gonna take care of some of these warnings. Let's see, don't need you. Don't need either of you. Let's see. We don't need player location. Interesting. I guess that's because we place ourselves later. Generate asteroid location is not needed anymore. Nice. Okay, so not using random. We're not using this velocity out of get player location, which is part of the fire bullet system. Oh, right, because I was sort of thinking about having this do that entire thing. So if we're not going to do this, I'm just going to remove the velocity out of there. And then in get player location, let's not have it return a point there. And you don't get used there, which means we don't need a velocity here, which means we don't need a velocities here, which means we don't need it there. Handle bullets hitting the asteroids. Okay, this is the new one that we're about to create. And you don't know what polyline is. Add that to my dictionary. All right. Let's do this thing. All right. Let's close everything up. Too many open. Okay, handle bullets hitting asteroids. We're gonna do this thing. All right, so first thing we're going to, what are we gonna do? We're going to get the bullets and we're gonna get the asteroids. I think all we need is locations and markers. But we're also gonna need IDs for deleting purposes. So I'm gonna do a world.query. This is gonna be a names. Okay, so we want names, we want location, and we want names, we want marker, and we're gonna want the IDs too. Entity ID. There we go. Well, we kind of need that and sign that. Let's let equals. There we go. Hello, Flint Rusty. How are you doing today? All right, so create this. All right, so let's extract these out. So we're gonna let if I wanted to make this a little bit more, I guess these are gonna be just the full. Okay, so we're gonna have locations equal to query.get names location. I'm a bit stressful at work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it gets better. Okay, so what did I do? This isn't a string. Oh, you're very new at your job? Yeah, I can also imagine that. Are you in a place where they can be more in person, or is it 100% remote where you are? A new developer to a team in a fully remote job, unless that team knows exactly how to onboard remote, is really, really rough on the new person. You're in Vietnam, so you work in person. Okay. I guess that's going to be easier. I don't know what the culture is like for developers in Vietnam, but hopefully you're going to be able to get some kind of like mentorship / like good onboarding, maybe. Developer culture. So what I mean by that is it's the best way to describe culture, in my opinion, is the list of sort of like rules that the people in the organization follow. That's not necessarily like what is written on the walls or like the things that they say they do. It's what they actually do. So if, for example, everyone works late, and you end up getting like 50, 60 hours per week, maybe even more, then you could say that there's a culture of overtime or like working extra long at that company. Even if like the CEO says, oh, we have a work-life balance culture, that doesn't, like, whatever they say doesn't mean that it exists. So that's what I mean by that. So you're just the entity IDs. Okay, so now we have these locations, we have the markers, we have the IDs. It's our reference to the vector of these components. Oh, your company seems like they don't work overtime. Oh, that's really nice. So then the next thing is going to be, what kind of like things can you do, or can they do for you to like help you feel less stressful? It can be really tough, like asking for like what you need, if they don't volunteer it. But sometimes companies like don't necessarily know that you're feeling stressed out. But then if they're good people, they're gonna want to help you. So sometimes you have to tell them. Oh, they're helping you out as much as they can, but you feel you cannot absorb the knowledge. I would. They know that you're struggling with a task. This is really tough because I see this all the time, and as a manager, so like I have the developer me and I have the manager me. So if I put on my manager hat, I kind of like having like the new people on my team struggle a little bit, because that's where the learning happens. And I know that increases stress for them, but I want them to like grow. But I also don't want them to like to grow in the wrong direction or to like feel really discouraged and then quit. And so it's a very fine line. Thing is though, I'm on a task that has the estimate about 8 hours, but it took me 50 hours to get it done. Well, that's also a problem with estimates, is like, yes, it could be estimated 8 hours, but like, we don't know, you don't know what would have taken one of the experienced developers to do. That they estimated it, but it may have been like 20 hours for them too. So that's really hard. Is there a pairing culture at your company? Pairing, like, and pair coding, like sitting down at a computer with somebody else and you both work on a single problem. Okay, so handle bullets, we get these. Now what I want to do is for each bullet, so we're going to loop through our markers. And it's not really a wrapped marker, but I guess we'll just say like a wrapped marker. And I wonder if I want to like actually just say these are components. That might make more sense. Okay, so for marker component in, and this is going to be markers, marker components, we need to iter it, and then we need to enumerate it, so that way I can get the index as well. Oh no, okay, each one has a different task, but on some tasks you need to coordinate. Yeah, so I do the same thing with my team. We all have different tasks. But I've also implemented something called an and-on chord, which comes from Japan. It's Toyota actually invented it. And the idea is, if you run into any trouble, things are taking like longer than estimated, or you don't understand something and like you just really need help, you pull the and-on chord. It's a virtual one. We just send a Slack message. Then the rest of the team jumps on and we pair for like however long it needs to get that person back on track again. And then we're back onto our original task. And we found that speeds us up as a team significantly. And then we just have like zero tolerance for any negativity around that. So no blames, like, what do you mean you don't understand this thing? We've told you 3 times before. We just don't do that. Oh, you're new to the tech stack as well? Oh yeah, all of these things are going to slow you down. So unless you're the one who estimated it at 8 hours, it's going to take you a lot longer. And how long have you been there? I would say that it takes 6 months for a new developer to like get their developer legs. Oh, 4 weeks? Oh, you're probably fine. Here's what I would recommend is have a one-on-one. I know. Especially if like new stack, these projects are usually complex, especially if it's a monolithic. That always takes like a long time to understand. You have to understand like the business needs and like what you're actually like solving. I would have regular one-on-ones with your manager, like your direct team lead / manager, whoever is like above you in the organization. Have regular one-on-ones like once every 2 weeks or so. And if you're feeling unsure or like nervous, tell them and see if you can get really good support from them. And that's I think that's the best way to like ensure that you're on the right path, because that way if you do that and you have like this regular cadence of one-on-ones, now you're giving them a forum where they can give you that feedback right like within 2 weeks of like some negative event, like, oh hey, you're not growing as fast as we want you to. They now can tell you instead of waiting for some annual review or something like that. They have ASP.NET and Angular though. You don't know any C#. You're learning at home apart from working in a company. Oh yeah, so like you need like this is all normal. This is all very, very, very normal to take a long time to learn a new stack. At my company, we have PHP. I didn't know any PHP starting. It didn't take me very long to learn PHP, but it did take me quite a bit of time to learn the frameworks that we're using on it. Not necessarily Laravel, but we also had Yi inside of Laravel, and like there was a lot of weird stuff going on. I would say it took me between 6 months and a year to truly grok all of the complexities that were like happening back and forth. And now the CTO, who originally wrote a lot of that, doesn't need to like be part of any conversations technically. I can just take on that myself. I need to respond to this. Yeah. So it sounds like you have a really good team lead. I would have meetings with your team lead. Like make sure that you're getting that support that you want and need. And it's see, there's a book that I could recommend. I don't know if they have a Vietnamese version, but it's like really well, like there's tons of other languages for it, so I would be surprised if it doesn't. I would say, what is it called? The something developer, the practical developer. What is it called? Pragmatic developer. Pragmatic programmer. I think this is it. I think this is the one. It's not the cheapest book, but it is, I would say the Pragmatic Programmer is really good for like new developers and sort of like giving a lot of context for a lot of these skills, why they take so long to learn, and also just like what little things, little tips and tricks you can do to like make it a little bit easier on yourself as you go forward. And I guess like a tip from a manager's perspective, all I would want to see is forward progress. I don't necessarily need to see like a new developer reach like mastery in like a very, very short period of time. What I just need to see is, oh, are you getting better over time? So take care of yourself. You're in it for the long haul. It's the infinite game here, not clean code. I would start with Pragmatic Programmer. Clean code is good, but, and it's written by like the same group of people that like initially started that entire agile movement in the world. But yeah, start with Pragmatic Programmer and then move on to clean code is my suggestion. Okay, so, and then let us know how it goes. Hopefully it's good. I've been rereading, because I missed Pragmatic Programmer. When I was suggested, I read that also when I first started, and I found Pragmatic Thinking and Learning, and I read that thinking that it was a Pragmatic Programmer, which is also an excellent book. And then I recently discovered, hey, no, that's wrong. So I've been reading through Pragmatic Programmer recently too, and I'm thinking like, oh man, I wish I read this when I first started. You'll buy me a cup of coffee if you pass probation. You could, or you know what? buy your team lead a cup of coffee too, because your team lead sounds like an excellent team lead so far. So maybe, you know, one day you'll probably be in that position yourself. All right. What are we doing here? Oh, right. So for each of these markers, so we need to extract out. So we need to get like, let a wrapped marker is going to be this reference to a data wrapper string inside equal to our marker component dot cast. Think you have less than 6 months to prove yourself? You might not be wrong. I don't know what your situation is. He said that he thinks I'll need 3 weeks to keep up. I would say keep that relationship strong with your team lead, and you'll get really good feedback of how you're doing. And like, are you falling behind expectations? Are you following ahead of expectations? It's sort of like scouting. Gather information as you go along. Don't wait until the end to find out that there is something you could have done like earlier on. Gather that information sooner than later. Okay, so we're gonna get a wrapped marker that gives us this data wrapper string. So that's an RC ref cell with a string inside. So we can then borrow it. So that our borrowed marker equal to a wrapped marker dot borrow. Okay, so that's our ref string. Oh, you speak with him every day? Oh, that's perfect. That's an excellent relationship then. All right, so then we care about if this is, so like, if our borrowed marker, so use, if borrowed marker, if you're equal to entity types, oh, he sits next to you though. I guess so. Pragmatic programmer does talk about like one-on-ones a little bit, but the idea is that you're gonna want some type of one-on-one to determine like, to maybe like be able to ask these questions, and you're gonna want them to be private so that you're not asking them like in front of the rest of the team, because that's not like fair to you. So you're probably gonna want some kind of like official one-on-ones with them. My preference is to do them as walking meetings outside, like away from work. It makes it easier for the manager, it makes it easier for you, and it's not as awkward as like staring like across each other from like a meeting room. That being said, everybody does them differently. And right now, like we're 100% remote, so we just stare at each other over Zoom or like Microsoft Teams meetings, which is suboptimal. Oh, Chantilly, your manager just wants you to work, and that's really it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, as a manager, I sort of feel that growing the team, like growing the individual people on my team, making them better people if they want to be, is like the best way to like have them want to work and give their all. Because it has to be a two-way street. Like if they're only benefiting the company, then what's the point for them to stay? Why would they want to stay? Yeah, like the money is not enough. It has to be more. Okay, so we know we're looking at like the current index is for a bullet. So if we have this, now we want to check to see, is that bullet hitting any of the asteroids? And I kind of wonder if I want to do this like let's see. So if I know that we have a bullet now, I want to check to see if this bullet is hitting any other asteroids. Can I... How do I want to deal with that then? I can loop through all the other markers to find asteroids. Okay, so we could maybe like right here collect all the asteroids. It's like let asteroids this could be like asteroid indexes. So this could be like get asteroid indexes. So if I do something like this, then I can pass in marker components. You know, we can even do this outside of here. We can do something like also just let bullet indexes equals get indexes. Oh, this could be a helper function. So like get indexes with marker. And then we can pass in entity types bullet, for example. I can just pass in that. We could just do the toString inside of there. And then you could be the same thing. So get indexes with marker, do entity types. You're an asteroid. Okay, so I could do that. Then I don't need to do this quite now. Let's see. So that gives me bullet indexes, asteroid indexes. What do we need? So this needs to be out of marker components. So we need to pass you in. So this is going to be our marker components. That. Okay, so if we pass in like this vector marker components, then, which we know is going to be this like reference to a vector of reference to component data. Okay, let's create this in helpers. So what is this called? This is get indexes with marker. All right, so we know that we're going to take in the, I guess like this could be the marker components. You're a reference to a vec with a reference to component data inside. And then we're also going to have, what are you? The entity types. So entity, well, I guess like the marker that we're looking at. Yeah, we'll call it entity type. We're going to turn a result, which is this error result. And we're going to throw in a, what do we care about here? This is probably going to have to be a vector of indexes. That's going to be usize. So if I just return, let's see, let mute indexes, just make you an empty vector, and we're going to return indexes here. And pull you in. All right, so that was going to give us a vector of usizes now. So we can get out these bullet indexes and the asteroid indexes. So let's actually do the thing. Okay, so for these, we're going to loop. We're going to do the same thing we did like before. So do for, we need the index and the marker component. And it's gonna be the marker components, iter, enumerate. Okay, that gives us our index and a marker component. So then I need to have a wrapped marker. You're gonna be a reference to a data wrapper with a string inside. And that's going to be this marker component. We cast you. Once we cast you, then we need to borrow you. Okay, we borrowed you. Then we need to test to see if you're that thing. So if a dereferenced borrowed marker, if you're equal to an entity, okay, this could be entity type .toString. Okay, so if you're equal to that, then indexes push our index. And there we go. Now we're gonna have a list of all of our index. Marker components. Oh yes, that can just be this. That. You're just now yelling at me that you're not being used. That's fine because you're not being used, but it will be. Okay, so now we have our indexes properly. Once we have the indexes of like all the bullets and all the asteroids, we need to loop through all the bullets. And then for each bullet, loop through all the asteroids to determine if the asteroid is being hit. So let's do for bullets index in bullet indexes. Why are you a vec of usize? That's not what I want. I want you to be an individual usize. Let's see. Oh, I need to question mark this. There we go. Now we have the usize. You can for loop through a result? That seems interesting. Okay, so indexes, asteroid indexes. All right, we're good here. Then okay, so for each bullet index, so let's pull out a bullet so that our wrapped bullet is going to be this reference to a data wrapper. And all we're caring about is the location of the bullet, I believe. So this is going to be wrapped bullet location is going to be a data wrapper of a point. It's equal to, okay, so this is going to be our location component of bullet index. We're going to cast you. And now we can borrow that too. So that borrowed bullet location is going to be equal to that wrapped bullet location dot borrow. All right, so that gives us a ref to this point. Perfect. All right, so we have a single bullet. Now I need to take this single bullet and loop through all of the location components, which means we need sizes, don't we? We need sizes to determine if it's being hit. It could be names. Size. There you go, size to string. And we can grab these out here too. All right, so we can get let's put them up with the other gets. This is gonna be let size components is equal to read get size to string and unwrap you. Okay, so now we have our size components. We can do the same thing down here. So we can use that with the asteroids. So perhaps this should be a different function down here. We can have like a function is like it can all, well, can it only be colliding with one? We should probably make it that only collides with a single asteroid. Even if the asteroids are like exactly overlapped, we're just gonna get like the first asteroid that it collides with, and that's gonna be it. So we want to loop through all of the asteroids. So right here, we want to loop through all the asteroids and then find out is our bullet's location within the radius of the asteroid. And if so, we can, I guess, delete the bullet right then, and we'll sort of like see how that looks. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? We're gonna loop through all of the asteroids. So for this could be an asteroid. I guess this is gonna be asteroid index in asteroid indexes. Okay, so looping through all the asteroids. So we're gonna get that out here. So that wrapped asteroid location is this reference to a data wrapper the point. Okay, so get the asteroid. Oh, these is gonna be location components of position asteroid index. I'm gonna cast you. Then we need to borrow that. This is a borrowed asteroid. Location is equal to the wrapped asteroid location dot borrow. Okay, so now we have a ref of a point. What are you upset about? We don't. Okay, use a moved value of asteroid indexes. I don't want to take ownership of you, so I'm just going to reference you. And then we're going to dereference you here. Oh, not borrow you, dereference you. There we go. I thought usize implemented clone by default, so I kind of thought this was going to be okay, but I guess not. All right, so we have our borrowed asteroid location. Yeah, look at that. It works fine here, but it doesn't work fine here. Interesting. Okay, so we have a borrowed asteroid location, so which is going to be this point. We also need the size, don't we? So let wrapped asteroid size. You're going to be a reference to a data wrapper. I think you're going to be an F32. Equal to, okay, so this is going to be our size components of a dereferenced asteroid index. I'm going to cast you as well. Borrowed asteroid size equal to the wrapped asteroid size, borrow. All right, so now we have the asteroid location, we have the asteroid size, and we have the bullet location too. So we want to get the distance too, so that and we might be able to do this as like just an if statement here. So if the dereferenced, let's just do our bullet location. So borrowed bullet location dot, actually I don't need to do this if we're doing a dot here. So distance 2, and then the other will be the borrowed asteroid location, but that needs to be a dereferenced. So borrowed asteroid location. That's going to give me this F32. So if you're less than our borrowed asteroid size, we have a hit. Like this asteroid is being hit. So we can, we could just mark this asteroid to be deleted now because we have we have the index. But we don't necessarily have the ID. But we can get the ID, can't we? We have the entity IDs, so ID of components here. And if we have the asteroid index, we can get that out of here. So let's just destroy the bullet and the asteroid and sort of like see how that ends up feeling. So that's going to be our world dot delete by ID. We have to pass it an ID, but we have ID components. But we have to cast that. So we can't do that quite yet. We have to do let wrapped ID. So you have to do wrapped bullet ID It's going to be this data wrapper of a U32, I believe. That's going to be our ID components of position. This is the bullet, so it's going to be the bullet index. We're going to cast U. Let borrowed bullet ID is equal to the wrapped bullet ID dot borrow. And then we can use that to delete. So we're going to do world dot delete by ID, and it's going to be a dereferenced borrowed bullet ID. And we can do the exact same thing for the asteroid. So let wrapped asteroid ID is our data wrapper, U32 is equal to our ID components of, this time it's going to be the asteroid index. Cast U. And then we're going to do a borrowed asteroid ID. It's equal to the wrapped asteroid ID, borrow. And then we're going to delete U2. Dereference borrowed asteroid ID. Expected a reference to a point, found a struct point. Oh, maybe, hold on. Consider oh, that works. Okay. That makes you happy. Then all we're yelling at here is just that. Where's the other? Oh, context is not being used. You will be, but I can do that. Let's go ahead and put our handle bullets hitting asteroid system into use. So that's going to be in the main library. In update, go ahead and put that right here. So we're going to do handle bullets hitting asteroid system. This takes a mutable world, so mute self.world, and then the context. I mean, it doesn't say that there's a problem, so let's go ahead and try it. All right, so I have plenty of asteroids. I was kind of hoping that would just work. I don't see any errors here. So it just doesn't do anything. Which is really, I would prefer crashing even than just like nothing. I can still die. All right, so handle bullets hitting asteroid system. I mean, I did save this, right? Yeah. You're saved in here. This is in our while loop, which is an update. Let's, I guess, do a debug here. Just like, is this running at all? that we should get the running if we have let's put this here. If we have a bullet, we should get running. So nothing yet. Nothing. Okay. So that means to me that we're seeing bullet indexes is absolutely empty. That's what I'm reading here. Yep, absolutely empty. So this get indexes with marker is returning nothing. So, okay, if the borrowed marker, if you're equal to this entity type to string, so we're saying, okay, so get indexes with marker, our marker components here, and then entity types bullet. And then when we create the bullet, our bullet, insert bullet into world. Okay, we're giving it a marker to string entity types bullet. Let's go ahead and remove. I'm gonna have no asteroids. Oh, you won't? Okay, fine. I'll have one asteroid. And then insert bullet into world. Okay, so we have this marker to string. So I want get index with markers. I kind of want to like check to see like what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna do a debug of a ref of this borrowed marker. So like a borrowed marker. Oh, I can clone you. That's why. Not clamp. Clone. And then do I still have that other? Do let's get a review. I should be able to see. I should be able to see like what markers we're getting out. It's like, for example, we're seeing this like asteroid constantly, asteroid and a player. I didn't see a bullet at all. I didn't see the bullet. Let's actually slow ourselves down a bit. So in a library, I can actually do that really, really cheaply by setting you to be our update FPS, which is a resource. Update FPS, which is right here. I'm gonna make you like 5. So 5 frames per second. Okay, here's our player. That's still a lot. Let's actually make this like one frame per second. This slows things down a little bit. So, yes, there's no bullet. There's no bullet. All right, so bullet doesn't have a marker component. So when we insert the bullet into the world with components, marker to string, anti-types, bullet to string. I mean, that does seem right. We're doing it correctly with the asteroid, right? Insert asteroid into the world. Yeah, so this is exactly the same thing that we're doing. With component, names, marker to string, entity types, asteroid to string. Okay. It's not like it's got too many components or not enough. It's not like I didn't save anything, right? They're all open and saved. Oh, so we have this bullet to string. And your entity types, which is the helper's entity types, which is the same thing as this. Entity types, asteroid to string. I have the question mark on it, so we're good there. What if I just copy you and redo you again? So with component, you can be marker and you're going to be a bullet. What? Didn't want to do that. I want to fire you. Yeah, there's still no bullet. I don't understand that. Why don't I have a bullet? Let's see. So insert bullet into world is fire bullet. So fire bullet is under this. In our main library. Let's see. In our main library, we have key down event, fire bullet system. We're passing in a mutable self.world. We're not even passing in like the particle world by accident. That's the same world. Okay, so fire bullet system does this entire thing. Insert bullet into world. We just pass the world on through. Guess I don't understand why wouldn't it be getting that? I have no idea. I'm thinking maybe something wrong with the query in this get indexes by marker. So we're getting borrowed marker. So we're doing okay, so these are like the marker components that we're doing here with this component data. And then that entity types. Okay, so that means when we're calling this, so names marker, and so we know that we're getting like the asteroids and the bullets though. That's interesting because we're getting those out. Okay, so we're getting names marker. So here's our marker components. If I like put our debug here, it's gonna be a reference to our components. Yeah, I'm only seeing asteroid and player in here. We're not getting anything else. Weird. What am I doing wrong? It must be what I'm inserting in, because I'm certainly not filtering it at this point. So when we insert the bullet into the world, I'm trying to say, hey, with this marker type, entity types bullet, it would crash on us if there was a problem with it. Do I have to like not make it the last? I can't imagine. Oh, I got rid of. So there's our asteroid. We get asteroid and player.
I am who I say I am.
Okay, so we're gonna have to dig into what's going on with BBECS and why I can't add in a marker for a bullet. Like what am I doing wrong there? It's probably something silly, but I don't have like an idea of like what could be happening there. So I think we're gonna have to play around with that. However, I'm gonna have to do that next time because it is almost 8:30. I do have to get to work to start doing all my meetings and all that normal stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and wind down. I'm gonna close off the YouTube video here. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.